Well, hello again. Thank you so much for joining us for our daily video on the lives and lessons of 100 Christians. I first heard about this lady earlier this year on a podcast with the Remnant Radio guys, if you're familiar with them. If you're not, you should be. All right, her name is Jacqueline Bronnie Lucy, but we know her as Jackie Pullinger. All right, she is a British Protestant Christian charismatic missionary whose fearless obedience has transformed the lives in Hong Kong's darkest corners for nearly 6 decades. Raised in a quite ordinary professional family in South London as one of twin sisters, she grew up in a stable but unremarkable suburb. Her father managed a factory, and her early years were marked by a precocious sense of divine purpose. At age 5, she declared her intention to become a missionary, a calling she pursued with visionary zeal. Talented in music, she trained at the Royal College of Music, graduating at age 21, but felt drawn not to concert halls, but to unreached souls in Asia. In 1966, armed with about 12 pounds, which is about $12, and a one-way ticket on the cheapest, longest ship route, advised by a vicar who suggested she pray for God to direct her disembarkation, Pullinger set sail. After stops in South Africa and Australia, she arrived in Hong Kong, penniless and unknown. Immigration officials nearly turned her away, relenting only because her mother's godson was a local police officer. With no formal support, she taught music and English part-time at a kindergarten in the infamous Kowloon walled city, a lawless, densely packed slum of 50,000 residents in a 1 acre, rife with triad gangs, opium dens, prostitution, and heroin addiction. Described as the most densely populated place on earth and a city of darkness, it was a no man's land beyond police jurisdiction where addicts chased the dragon, which is slang for smoking opium right out in the open. Her early efforts yielded little fruit. Standard evangelism, preaching the gospel logically, bounced off hardened hearts, scarred by judgmental Christianity. She pivoted the demonstration, founding the Walled City Youth Club in 1967 as a safe haven for singing, Bible studies, and unstructured fellowship. Living among the residents, she faced threats from the triads, which is the big gang, exhaustion, taking little cat naps on buses, and emotional strain from repeated failures. A breakthrough came in 1968 when Christian friends prayed for her to receive the Holy Spirit and the gift of tongues. Initially embarrassed and resistant, I would have done anything not to pray out loud in a strange language. She surrendered, experiencing a supernatural empowerment that shifted her ministry. All right. This baptism ignited miracles. Addicts detoxed without medication through prayer, and former triad enforcers like Ah Ping, which was a violent gang leader, converted after her hearing God speak in English during her prayers. And healing defied medical odds. She challenged triad control, even praying for chopped or hacked members, leading to mass conversions. By the 1970s, her work expanded. She founded St. Stephen's Society in 1978, named after the biblical martyr for a bold witness, a rehabilitation network using faith-based methods. The Hong Kong government recognized her impact, donating land for Shing Mung Springs, a multi-purpose rehab home housing 200 men, and awarding her the MBE in 1988 for public welfare. The walled city demolition took place in 93 to 94, displaced residents, but didn't halt her mission. St. Stephen's relocated and grew internationally to the Philippines, India, and beyond, aiding thousands through prayer-centered detox. Wow. Over 500 annually in Hong Kong alone. Pullinger remains single and childless, lives simply among the poor, training locals, as her most effective co-workers. Former addicts now leading outreach. 881, she continues itinerant speaking in rare interviews and hands-on work influencing people all over the place. Her 50th anniversary in Hong Kong, that was back in 2016, drew thousands, including the Archbishop of Canterbury. All right, so what lessons can you learn? Obey your calling, no matter how illogical. All right, at 21, she sailed with very little money and no plan, landing in danger because God whispered Hong Kong. She urges ditching safety for surrender. As in the quote, we're going to feel stupid for eternity if we waste this life on comfort. All right, I like that. Demonstrate love before declaring truth. All right, words failed in the walled city until she showed Jesus through youth clubs and presence. Mere words about Jesus' love are meaningless without action. That's a good word for us. Rely on the Holy Spirit's power for breakthroughs. Post-baptism, tongues and prayer detoxed addicts miraculously. She teaches it's not emotional, but channeled for gifts, which is essential for the impossible. Again, she leaned on spiritual gifts to really bring deliverance to people. Persevere through brokenness and heartache. Years of relapse and exhaustion taught that ministry brings death to the giver, but life to the receivers. God's broken heart for the poor sustains us. Empowered the redeemed as co-laborers. Her best partners in all this are converted addicts leading outreach. She rejects hierarchy, affirming women's ministry when men step into secure manhood. Okay, so that's one of her things. Yeah, that's quite a bit. All right, a couple of quotes. The gospel brings life to the receiver and death to the giver. That's an interesting. And stop living vicariously through me. Get on with the job. Okay. All right. Thanks again. Take care. God bless. Bye.